the Avengers had a falling out. Captain America and Iron Man, they had a fight against some important issues, and then it led the whole thing apart into two divisions, and eventually they realized that after all those fights that it keeps them from being the heroes that they are. And I remember this movie because this is very similar to the topic in the book of Philemon, which you already discussed last week, but we're going to take a better look and we will reflect on the message of that book as well as the book of Hebrews. Welcome to week 28 of our daily Bible devotions, and this week we're going to take a look at the book of Philemon and the book of Hebrews. But today I want us to reflect on Philemon because it's a very short book. It's actually a letter, Paul's letter to Philemon. And what we see here is that in this one chapter book or one chapter letter, it actually delivers a very powerful message about reconciliation, hence civil war. Okay, looking at the letter, when you read the text, it's very short. I encourage you to read it. It introduces us to Philemon. He is the person to whom Paul is making an appeal to. And so Paul is writing that letter to Philemon to make an appeal on behalf of another person named Onesimus. Onesimus is the former slave, apparently, of Philemon. And now they had a falling out, sort of. You can sense that from the way Paul talks to Philemon. And in the letter, Paul is actually encouraging Philemon to reconcile, to be reconciled with Onesimus. And it's very important. It brings us to the very core of Christianity. And that would go straight to the principle that I want to share today. The principle is this: to be a Christian is to be reconciled with God and to be agents of reconciliation. Again, to be a Christian equals to be reconciled with God plus to be agents of reconciliation. Why did I say that? For example, in our local church, we have a motto. It says, "We're better together." And that's very similar to the motto of this movie. In the posters, it says, "United we stand." Because when they're divided, we fall. And in division, actually, it's not just the start of the fall. Division in itself is the fall. Let's go back to the story of the Garden of Eden. Let's go back to Genesis. When Adam and Eve sinned, when they fell to sin, when they ate the forbidden fruit, they got separated from God. That in itself, that the fall to sin is already the separation from God. There is already a division. Now, that is not just a start. That in itself is a division. It's the same as in the movie. The enemy was trying to pull them apart, and that is not a preparation for a greater attack against them. That in itself is the attack. Dividing them is the attack. Because we're meant to be together, especially as Christians. It's an effective enemy tactic, actually. Division is not just the start of the fall. Again, it is the fall. So if you move fast forward in the story of the Bible, in the New Testament, Jesus Christ came to reconcile us with God. He is the new Adam. Where Adam fell, where Adam sinned, Jesus Christ came in to reconcile us to God. Now, since Christians already know reconciliation, because now they are not separated from God because of their sin, they are already reconciled to God through Jesus Christ. Since they already know reconciliation, they are expected to be agents of reconciliation. That is exactly what Paul is doing in his letter to Philemon. You read that, you see him, he's saying that I can command you, I have the authority to actually command you to be reconciled with Onesimus, but instead, I am pleading, I am making an appeal to your goodness. Only those who are forgiven have the strength to actually forgive. Only those who know reconciliation can actually be agents of reconciliation themselves. So you ask yourself, what separates you from God? What pulls you away from Him? Because if you are separated from God, you would want that reconciliation. And once you are already reconciled with God, you have to ask yourself, who are the people around you who needs to be reconciled with God? Or maybe they have a fight, they have disagreements, they have things that pulls them apart. Maybe you need to reconcile them. Do you know such people? If you have been reconciled to God already, if you have been reconciled with other people, be an agent of reconciliation. Because reconciliation is very important. Because we're not meant to be separated. We're not meant to be divided. It makes us weak. Reconciliation teaches us that we are better together.